Me gusta tu vestido.
Dime más.
Tus manos parecen muy suaves.
¡Dime más!
Tu pelo es perfecto para la forma de tu cara.
¡Dime más!
Much of motor racing's history goes back to the 1970s, the 1960s, or even the 1950s. For stock cars, anything before the 1940s is BC in the record books. But for Indianapolis and the story of the 2.5-mile temple that paved the way for American oval racing brick by brick, you have to go back over a quarter century more to 1909. This track means so much to so many, and to win here, even in iRacing, is a feather in any driver's cap. Even more so as the Area Florida State Builders Pro Series approaches the playoffs with just 2 rounds to go. One here and one at the random result generator in Alabama, Talladega, a week from now. But it may not be an Indy 500 on the line, but the stress there is all the same in this 80-lap, 200-mile race. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Area Florida State Builders Pro Series. Kyle Heyer joined by Connor Horn and Hunter Slempe on this 11th round of the season. Connor, as we get into this night, 80 laps around Indy. We had a fun race on Monday. I think we'll see something similar tonight.
I think it'll be a lot of fun. These cars, maybe not well perceived in the real world when they came to Indianapolis, I think 2011 or 2012, but I still enjoy the racing with these cars the way they are, kind of downforce challenged. You can really slide out of the corners and make time if you make the corner just right. Something that's going to be a little bit different from what we saw on Monday night, although the lack of grip is still going to be there, Hunter.
Lack of grip will be a concern for some of these guys, but unlike the 7 Escaioli, that should not be an issue. He's got 7 wins to his name on the season. Cameron Hearn, Justinas Togaka as well, all locked in for the playoffs, as we've only got this race and next week at Talladega for other drivers to be locked in, but Munsell and Beckner are also locked in, but not based off wins, based off the amount of points that those two have gathered over the course of the season. Then you got Therian, then John Furness, Ryan Hartz, Matthew Bell, David Weissart. You got to keep an eye on him. Almost had a shot Monday night at his home track. Going to be a factor again tonight. Then Casey Lacaze and Alex Weaver. Kyle, this is where it gets close to the cutoff. Only 4 points separating Senesac being out compared to Weaver being in.
Yeah, and as I said all week this week, anytime that you have a plate race or a super speedway race as a cutoff race, you can't count on that. You can't plan your season around that being the way you get into the playoffs. So you need to get the job done tonight, I think. Not only do you need to get the job done to get yourself above that cut line, you need to build yourself at least something of a margin, Connor, because you go to Talladega needing to do much of anything. The racing gods are not going to shine kindly on those that are on that bubble.
No, we're going to see it all next week. We're going to see every single series is going to have drivers, whether on the top 12 cut line or even the top 20 cut line, vying for a race win. It is going to get dramatic for guys like Austin Gakjo and Andrew Santo. We saw on Tuesday night at IRP, while JT Poole not in the playoff race, he was outside the top 12. If he had run enough races, that would have been his ticket to make it in. Unfortunately, didn't run enough races, but that's the same scenario that we could see tonight for some of those drivers below that top 12/top 20 cut line. There's a few drivers there that could easily win a race. Chris Riebel's 22nd. Brad Slaughter Jr., he hasn't made enough races. Actually, yes, he has. He's barely 20th. Michael Muhammad's there as well. Who knows what could happen.
Also got to look at Jordan Martin. He had a good top 10 run last Monday, or this past Monday for Indianapolis, and he's got good experience at Talladega. Remember from season 2, was 19th in the point standings for the Cup side of things. Won the race, made his way into the postseason for the Cup race. So he could do it for the Pro Series, but he's going to try and lock himself in with a win tonight.
Should be fun to watch. Summer is the season of travel, and what better way to spend it than traveling across the world, visiting countries like Spain, Italy, Japan, or even France. Worried about the language barrier? Babbel is here to help you learn a new language in as little as 3 weeks. Babbel is one of the top language learning apps in the world and teaches you real-world conversations like travel, business, relationships, and more. Lessons designed by real language teachers to have you ready for the occasion. Not a fan? No problem. Babbel comes with a 20-day money-back guarantee. Babbel, made for traveling so you can keep babbling. And in Twitch chat, twitch.tv/area iRacing, you can type !Babbel in chat to get up to 60% off. And I hope they have a course on English, because I think I might need some of that, Connor.
Possible. I might join you on that. But yeah, 60% off. You can't really say no to that. That's incredible. But this race is going to be incredible as well tonight, as qualifying is going to be coming up. Practice results: John Furness was fastest by a good margin. Got a hot lap in near the very end. Skylerly, Weishart, Weaver, and Matthew Bell, the top 5 as drivers start to get on track, including Matthew Bell. He's kind of been a little bit underrated, but also it's hard to say that he's underrated. He has 5 top 10s, 1 top 5, which I believe was at Iowa, but he's been capable of much more, Hunter. I feel like it's only a matter of time before he gets himself one.
Kind of been in a influx of different finishes here. Last one at Road America, I finished 6th, but then it was 28th at the Atlanta Oval, then 7th from Pocono. It's kind of been up and down. He started off the season really good, but it's been kind of up and down in the finish category for the Pro Series. So looking to get a win and hopefully not have to worry too. I don't think you should worry too much about making it in on points. Currently sits 7th in the standings, but should be exciting to see what that 43 can do.
Cross the start-finish line to start his qualifying lap. And as far as track position goes, Connor, Monday we saw a very interesting race. Lots of green flag running, lots of strategy playing out, saving fuel on long runs. Qualifying tonight, important, or do you think you can carve your way through the field kind of early when everyone's still bunched up?
I think you're going to want to start up front. It's going to be difficult to pass. The issue with passing here is you might be able to get it done and get a few positions here and there, but the amount of time you lose at this track trying to make passes, trying to set them up and then execute them. Ooh, Robertson close to the wall. It wastes your time at a track like this. We saw it on Monday night, different cars, but you got side by side through one corner, even a set of corners. You just absolutely lost so much time with the guys in front, and that's what let David Weishart, James Skylerly, JT Poole, that's what let those guys get away, because they got out of that draft range, and guys got side by side inside the top 5, and then they lost the leaders, and that their race for the win was effectively over. We could see that tonight as well. Draft won't come into play as much, but you really don't want to be side by side for too long, so I think track position is the way to go once again.
Definitely is, as Matthew Bell completes his lap. Chris Rabel, he started 7th in the Cup race Monday night at this track. Did not have a good finish. Was back in 25th. Looking for a bounce-back effort on the Pro Series side of things tonight as he comes across the line to complete his lap.
We'll see where Chris Rabel lands. Nick Silver up to 2nd as Bell. Provisional pole early on here. 53.230 for Rabel puts him 4th quick. Travis Beckner in the 27 just started his lap and rolling through the exit of this 2.5-mile track. Greg Mitchell goes to the top of the board. And Connor, this track got long straightaways and quarter-mile turns, and of course those short chutes where you can't really do much of anything. The battles are always into turn 3 and into turn 1, but drafting and slipstreams, how important is that in this this Class B car? Is that going to be as effective as Monday or more effective perhaps?
I think it's going to be less effective. The draft, the way you suck up to the car in front is not really as important at all, so I don't expect it to be a factor. I think we'll still see weaving. We saw it at Pocono, the battle between Skylerly and Hearn, as Beckner might have tapped the wall there. The battle there, they were weaving, but it wasn't really making much of a difference. Really, where it makes more of a difference in the corners. That dirty air is going to be a factor all race long, so whoever gets the lead is going to have a big advantage there, as always is the case at Indianapolis when NASCAR comes around. I just don't think slipstream is really a big factor here.
Here's Tom Bourne in the 16, looking to put up a solid lap time. Only 9 cars have put down a lap so far. Mitchell, the pole sitter, hasn't been here in a couple of weeks. Last race was at Pocono, where he came through for a 21st place finish. Only 1 top 5 this season for Greg Mitchell in the Pro Series, so he's looking to best that. And his best start of the season was 8th at Watkins Glen, so looking to improve on that as the 16 of Bourne comes off turn 4, looking to complete his lap.
Yeah, and has had a pretty good season in the Truck Series, but didn't have the best night on Tuesday, so maybe looking to redeem himself a little bit at the big track tonight. We were IRP on Tuesday night. It was JT Poole that won his first race in his area iRacing career. Mason Kane, a strong effort up to third place in his qualifying run, and now Justin Munsell on track. And Hunter, you specifically pointed out the number 6. Why?
Feels like he's due for a win. He's been up there contending with the 7 Scioli for so long, and I just think that tonight is going to be the night where he gets it done before heading into Talladega, because that is a wild card for anyone in the field. He still has a shot to win that, but it's just coming. He's been so close these last few weeks. I feel like if there's someone that's going to be able to get the job done on the 7 Scioli, it's going to be the 6 car.
Yeah, I think he's in good position to do so, and on his qualifying lap right now, he's working his way up onto the back straightaway. Connor, what's the key of driving around here at speed? What's the secret to unlocking the pace at Indianapolis?
Absolutely getting the corners right and not missing that very bottom line. You want those left sides really to get under the white line in these corners, as close to that small rumble strip as you really can get, and track it all the way out to the wall. It's all about keeping your momentum up. You cannot mess up the corner exits, especially. You need to be fast on corner. That's why getting those left sides like Justin Munsell is down under that white line so important. And then carrying it all the way to that outside wall, using it to your complete advantage, keeping momentum up and great corner exits is going to get you a good finish here today.
And a 52.972 puts him on provisional pole. Really strong lap for Justin Munsell. And Hunter, you're looking pretty smart right now with your pick so far.
Over his last 5 starts, he's gotten 2 poles, but finished a 3rd, 8th, 5th, and 11th. His worst finish this season has been 13th, and that came at Iowa. So, like I said, this 6 car has definitely got speed capable of running up front with the 7. Can he beat him, though? Or could you put the 2 numbers together, you get 67? Could Cameron Hearn get a 2nd win of the season?
Well, let's see what he does across the stripe this time through. 53.022. That's the 2nd quickest lap we've seen in qualifying. Puts him on the front row provisionally here, but there are still some very fast cars yet to go, including Connor, the driver that was fastest in practice.
Yep, fastest in practice. He's one of those guys who did a lap at the end of the session to get that top spot in practice, and he's going to wait the time out to go now. Some time is moving, but it's about noon, so not going to get any cooler at this point, but he's trying to maximize, I think, the cloud covers. You can see it's a little bit darker than we've seen earlier in qualifying, so we'll see if maybe that helps him a little bit.
John Furness looking to put together a good... he's kind of babying it going into 3, just making sure it doesn't overcook the tires.
Don't want to get a lot of heat in them prematurely. You're leaning on the tires so much here. There's just not a lot of banking at all for the speeds that you're asking out of the car. And without a lot of downforce to stick you to the road like the Indy cars, you're going to really struggle without putting a lot of pressure on that right front. So here comes John Furness across the stripe. He will begin his qualifying lap. Now you get only 1, so you got to make it count. Right on that curb, is that too much though, Connor?
That's too much. You don't want to hit it and go over it because it will ruin a little bit of your momentum, but you just got to get as close to it as possible. You almost got to enter just next to it into turn 2, and he did a good job that time, but we'll see how much momentum and how much time he lost on the pylon because of hitting it in turn 1. Not really what you want to do, but still 190 entering turn number 3, maybe even 191.
Rolling through turn 3 now. Gonna want to be careful on the exit. Saw a couple of guys scrape the wall there on corner exit Monday night in the Cup race. Gets through turn 4 pretty well. Now it's just along the straight and see what he puts up.
John Furness across the line on the number 28. Let's see what he's got in the tank for the 28 Ford at 52.942. That will put him to the top. Wow.
That shows how fast he is, because you know what? He made a little bit of a mistake in turn 1, too, and he still got pole. But he still has to fend off the hometown guy, David Weishart.
Yeah, David Weishart was the pole sitter Monday night. Led 11 laps of the 85 that was scheduled, but again, it was the 7 Scioli that could not, that could keep the 33 away from winning, and there's a big moment for Weishart in the middle of turn 1.
Yeah, just a little bit loose. Not sure how much that'll cost him. It didn't look like he had it yawed out enough to scrub any speed. Just hanging the quarter panel out in the air. Lifted. You see the flames shoot out the pipes on the right. And out of turn number 4, here comes David Weishart. Can he possibly go to the top of the board and knock Munsell off the front row? Here comes Weishart, 52.954. Yes.
Oh.
Second place.
So close to Furnace as well, only by 100th. Really close between those top three. The only two drivers under that 53-second bracket, as that will pretty much, well, it won't end qualifying. We do have James Scioli trying to get his lap in, and he will just barely with 10 seconds on the clock. Didn't watch his time. We'll see if he can steal another pole away.
Close.
Yes, he does.
Wow. That was unbelievable. James Scioli to the top late in qualifying, goes to pole by 35 thousandths of a second. In the nick of time, the points leader, the driver that's won 7 races so far, is going to end up on top of this one. That was fun to watch, absolutely. Race fans, be sure to subscribe to the Area iRacing Twitch channel. For only $5 a month, you can watch all Area broadcasts commercial free. You can also use new Area iRacing emotes in the chat and earn double channel points as a subscriber that you can use to redeem for free merchandise. That's always good to know. And before we get to our Roasted Gems Coffee starting lineup, race fans, start your engines with a fresh cup of Roasted Gems Coffee. Choose from some of the finest coffee beans from Colombia and Peru, or try the blended flavors of French vanilla and hazelnut. Use discount code Area iRacing for 10% off your order at checkout at roastedgems.com. And let's remind you again, as we have another look at the playoff picture, use !Babbel in the Twitch chat, twitch.tv/Area iRacing to get 60% off Babbel. Another look at the standings here, Connor, before we kick off the evening. 80 laps around here. This is a fairly long race, 200 miles for the Area Florida State Builders Pro Series. And for the drivers that we're keeping our eyes on, Munsel's already locked in on points, but the mission is to get some wins, because when we reset, Scioli's going to be sitting pretty already.
Hey, yeah, your goal is not to catch Scioli on bonus points. Impossible. He's going to be really hard to beat with all those playoff points and just his dominance come playoff time. But you definitely want to put yourself in a situation where you're going to have the best shot at him going into Chicagoland, which I believe is where we start the playoffs. So you really need to get something going. Also, just to get further away from that cut line. You don't want to be close to that cut line come playoff time, and trying to distance yourself from it. Guys like Furnace, Hartz, David Weishart, guys capable of winning. You can see it because of the points they've gathered. Travis Beckner as well, and Munsell, obviously. You want to get as far away from that as possible, and no better way to do that than winning a few races here right before the cutoff.
One thing I'm looking at, is Colin Fambro in the session? Because he's 14th in points. I don't see him on the scoring.
Nope.
So that's going to be huge. He's basically going to put himself in the must-win scenario for Talladega if he wants to have a shot at the postseason.
Also, Brett Slaughter Jr. is not here as well, and I'm pretty sure he's actually running his Firecracker 400 prelim. I believe that's why he's not here.
Yeah, that might throw some things off when it comes to the playoff picture going in that big race that you're also qualifying yourself in for, Connor, so congrats to you on that.
Yay.
But
stressful.
Yes, I imagine it is. This is a long one, guys, an hour and 10 minutes from flag to flag if we go green from start to finish. We almost did that on Monday in the Area Cup Series. Let's see how things pan out tonight as we get rolling for our Roasted Gems Coffee starting lineup. Let's have a look. On row number 1, it's going to be James Scioli, the points leader, 7 wins on the season in the number 7 Chevrolet Camaro. He'll line up alongside John Furness in the 28 on the outside of that front row.
And row number 2, David Weishart getting closer to the back bumper of Scioli as they pull away for their pace lap. He starts 3rd, Justin Munsell starts 4th.
Row 3, it's going to be Cameron Hurd in the number 67. Greg Mitchell starts 6th in the number 2.
Matthew Bell qualifies 7th. He's been great in qualifying all season. He's starting alongside Mason Kane in the 31.
And 9th place, Travis Beckner in the number 27 Toyota Supra. Austin Gack-Jones starts 10th in the number 8 Chevy Camaro.
Beautiful Raceway Ford Mustang. That's Jordan Martin, ever recognizable, starting 11th. Alongside him will be the 84, the Carvana Camaro, Shane Abbey.
And 13th place is going to be Nick Silver in the number 46. Ed Robertson starts 14th in the number 64 Mustang.
Chris Rabel will need a win and more to get in, starting 15th place. Just Anna Sogak, no worry, he starts 16th after winning Daytona.
17th place, Tom Bourne didn't get the finish he wanted on Tuesday at IRP. Will try again at the big track in his number 16 Toyota Supra. Jeffrey Wilson starts 18th in the number 98.
Area's Ironman Garrett Grant starting 19th position. Alongside him, another formality in the series, Jacob Hudson.
And 21st place, Shane Therian in the number 38 starts 21st. Casey Licata's 22nd in the number 50.
Alex Weaver's on the cut line and did not get a time down, starting 23rd. Gonna need to get going early. Chuck Sweeting starting 24th.
And 25th place, Steve Durham in the number 1. Andrew Santo starts 26th in the number 10. James Coe starts dead last, 27th in the number 24 car. Hunter Sleppy, you picked the number 6. Is that the pick you're going to stick with?
Absolutely.
All right, Connor, who you got?
I got Weishart. I think he's getting Monday Night Redemption.
All right, I'll go with Cameron Hearn. I think the 67 gets the job done from 5th place tonight. 200 miles, 80 laps from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway from 1909 to 2023. The Area Florida State Builders Pro Series is underway. John Furness hanging tough on the outside, trying to steal the lead away from the pole sitter into turn 4. Still corner to corner, the 7 and the 28 doing battle for the top spot as they close out lap 1, Connor.
And Furness clears him. He'll lead lap 1, and we'll see if he can pull away of any sort. That is a gutsy move, but an incredible move to get it done on the outside through 1 and 2 and able to drive it hard into 3. You could see how much time he gained on entry into turn 3.
Managed to make that outside work in the middle of 3 and 4, and now staying comfortable with the lead as they are still slicing and dicing in the back. Mason Kane lost the 9th spot to Shane Abbey, but it's outside the top 10 where they're still kind of side by side, right around where Tom Bourne is.
Yeah, Chris Rabel in the 29. That's Tom Bourne giving him a good shove down the back straightaway. That's a lot of speed that they're gaining. Another 2 to 5 miles an hour with the shove there, but John Furness leads the way into 3 on lap number 2. Orderly single file now, and now you have to start planning your attack and how much can you beat up the tires, Connor? I'd imagine that if you eat up your right front in particular, it's going to be for a long day.
Yeah, you cannot wear it out. It's almost no choice but to wear it out, though. It can't really hang on the right rear here either because you're going to be in the wall very early, so you really got to be able to manage your stuff really smooth on the throttle coming on the exit of the corners, and also be very wary about your braking points as well. Don't slide the tires at all. That's going to be the name of the game. And not many more tracks where it's as important as Indianapolis.
And there's Garrett Grant in the 5 car, falls back to 21st, but David Weishart mentioned that it was going to be a race about tire wear because there's 3 seconds of fall off on a 30-lap stint, and that tends to go into Garrett Grant's favor. So one of the better drivers at preserving the tires. So we'll have to see how that 5 is handling after 20 laps or so, as Rabel nearly clips the wall. Getting tucked in line behind Bourne, and there's Grant making a move on, I believe, that is the 98 of Collier. No, Jeffrey Wilson.
Yeah.
Onto the front straightaway, still slicing and dicing back here for position. They're not sorted out by any means. The 5 car, though, going backwards early, not the right direction for Garrett Grant and that green and black Ford Mustang. The 98 stuck on the outside, Andrew Santo, and the cotton candy colored car, the yellow and pink on the bottom. And just behind them, Casey Laconis.
Never seen yellow cotton candy. But
well, maybe pink lemonade and non-pink lemonade.
I would try it.
I would try it.
Yeah, he is falling back. He gained a spot there, but like you said, is falling back. Austin Gack-Joan also falling back. He started 10th. You can see some right front fender damage, which, once again, no new damage model on these Xfinity cars yet, so any fender damage is really going to kill your day, and he has it early. He's down 6 spots, and that is Justin Anasogak trying to challenge him. Anasogak's also gone backwards.
Still single file for the most part. Field definitely spread out quite a bit, about 8 seconds separating the last place driver, Coe, from the leader, John Furness, as he keeps a sizable distance between himself and James Scioli. Still side by side right in the back here with Wilson and Wilson and Sweeting.
Yep, Chuck Sweeting in the 75 on the inside. Good battles back here deeper in the field as they have just yet to sort it out. Justin Anasogak in that 88 car advancing on Austin Gack-Joan, or vice versa.
Is similar to what we saw Monday night. The draft was more prevalent, but you're still seeing it get spread out, as almost looked like there was contact between Durham and Santo into turn 3. Still getting elbows out even at a track like this big, but you got to be careful about that as we will see this spread out more and more. The entire field, 27 cars, separated by about 8 seconds as Furness continues to lead and about half a second ahead of Skyly now as Therian took a look to the bottom of Gak Joe, nothing doing.
Gak Jones still losing spots, down to 17th now. Therian been on the move off, start 21st, up a few spots into the 18th. Still looking to take that 17th spot away from Gak Jones, but just going to ride along the hood of the monster Camry.
Off into turn 3. Speeds down to under 150 miles an hour in the straightaways, and we'll watch what peak speeds are at the end of the straights, but they are well north of 175, 180 miles an hour. And let's watch, I'm going to watch my timing monitor, 185 by the time they cross the bricks, and just touching 192 is David Weishart, peak speed into turn 1. So you're dropping almost 50 miles an hour from the beginning of turn 1 to the apex of turn 1 and turn 3. So you're just decelerating quite a bit, Connor, and there's so much side load on that right front tire.
And it's only going to get slower and slower. The braking zone's going to come forward a little further each and every lap as the tires wear, and also your throttle up point getting off the corners is going to go backwards a little bit. You're going to have to show a lot of patience to exceed on the long run at this track today, because it's looking like we're headed towards another one of those races that we saw Monday.
So we're running in car with Tom Bourne. He's up 4 spots since the start of the race, up to 13th. So he's looking to take over the 12th position away from Nick Silver in the 46. Already looking at lap times here as they're completing lap 7. About a half-second fall off, actually 6/10 fall off between, that's from the leader, John Furness. His last lap was a 53.8. Skyly a 53.9, also 53.9 from Weishart, but already a half-second difference from lap times since the start of the race.
Look out! Oh. Durham almost got walled by Andrew Santo. That was very close.
You saw that battle heating up. Chuck Sweeting made the move, and it almost ended sour. I was also looking at Weishart hit the curb in 2, but he loses his spot, but he's clean. As you'd see, it got very dicey. He just got ran out of room and had to lift. That was very smart because he saved his car big time.
Another look coming into your shot, top of your screen. And right here, oh, he was just inches from smacking it. Tom Bourne having a look at Nick Silver here for 12th place.
All you can have is a look, though, when you're that far back on entry. You really have to, that's why the exits are so important. You set your passes up on exit by getting a better run. And if you can get to the left rear, you kind of have to be committed at that point, because if you're not there, you're not going to get positioning. And if you still try it, well, you're probably going to cause a wreck. But Weaver was smart there, and he'll get that spot.
Puts the 8 of Gak Jones down to 19th. Gotta wonder if that damage is just gonna hurt the car more on the longer run. The 8 would want to come in and pit, although he's still close to the bumper of Weaver, but definitely a difference between the start of the race and where he is at now. He literally ran a second slower that last lap than his fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, I think he's definitely struggling, and that impact you just see the damage that was down the right side of the car, so it's definitely more significant than just the fender. It's the whole right side, which is the important side of a stock car when you're trying to make any sort of downforce. So slipping backwards here early, but still a chance to redeem yourself. There's a long way to go, but Connor, without yellows, you don't get to spend a lot of time on pit lane fixing any damage, nor do you have the ease of just driving up through drivers on restarts. You have to do it the old-fashioned way, and that's hard here.
Oh, really hard here. It's a battle into turn 3. See, Greg Mitchell is going to give Weishart room on entry. Justin Muntz was going to take advantage and take it into turn 3 with a late move. I was starting to get worried about Weishart. It looked like, I'm pretty sure he hit the wall between turns 1 and 2. You could see the fender somewhat broken. And since then, he lost third to Cameron Hearn, and he's not keeping pace with him right now as he kind of caused Muntzel to get that spot. Now Mitchell's starting to fall backwards.
Bell looking to the inside of Mitchell, heading into turn 1, the blue 43. Mitchell going to keep it rolling up top with Travis Beckner nearing this pursuit.
Wow, that was close. And this is not a multi-groove racetrack, guys. This is a groove that you want to be on the bottom, and if you get out of the groove, Connor, you commit the slightest bit too early to throttle, and there's just no catching it. Once you start to understeer, you can feel it coming, and there's no way to miss it.
Yeah, it looks like Greg Mitchell had an issue too. He's another one who has right front damage, and he's starting to feel the effects as well as Travis Beckner will get by. His climb continues. He's up 2 positions. Shane Abbey's going to be next in line to take a look as well. You're starting to see some of those drivers pay the price on pushing exit too much and wearing that right front out, also getting the right front damaged, and it's early to be doing that. Still close to 70 laps to go. It kills your race if you get damaged now and it goes green like this.
4th through 9th are within a second of each other, and that's the gaggle you saw just going into turn 1 there. Munsell leading the charge. Weishart down to 5th, but Shane Abbey is now closed in on this. Kane nearly close to on the wall that time through.
Very close stuff for 4th place still, but Munsell on the move. Well, I guess from where he was, down 2 spots back up to where he started. Matthew Bell looking a bit impatient behind Greg Mitchell, but kind of missed his turn in there. Didn't quite get down low enough. It's just such a line-sensitive racetrack, and it will burn you for making the slightest mistake.
Yes, it will. That's why just getting the line is so important. You wouldn't think it's one of those tracks where you're... Actually, no, that's a lie. This is one of those tracks for sure where you race the racetrack. But it's so difficult to do that, especially when you get in a single-file line like this. It's very easy for your entry to the corner to get blocked off, and you can lose focus on where you are on track as Gacchone continues to fall. So it's very difficult to hit your marks because these corners kind of go, over and over. You get a break, but it's almost too easy to lose focus when you have such a big break with the straightaways.
Costly positions there for Gacchone as he jumps outside the top 20. Licata's up to 19th, going to be close with him in the cutoff. Still 11th in points heading into this race. Going to need all the momentum that he can heading into Talladega, because when you're that close to the cutoff line, one small move and you're out. Especially here, like what we saw Monday, Cameron Hearn had an issue, came in pitted because he tapped the wall and the steering was not centered. And now he's in a must-win, even though he has a win, and heading into Talladega. So you don't want to do that for any series, but the Licata's machine still rolling the 19th.
14 laps in to 80 laps here tonight in the Area Florida State Builders Pro Series. We work our way towards the start of the playoffs at Chicagoland Speedway in a couple of weeks. Just 2 more races remain, this one and Talladega, to determine the drivers that will be fighting for a spot as champion in the Area Florida Estate Builders Pro Series. So, out front, John Furness, with aggression early in the race, has put himself out front. Scioli's a second back. Now Matthew Bell, Weishart, and Beckner fighting for 5th place.
Bell recently got by. In fact, it was this lap, I believe, Weishart let him go into turn 3. So Weishart now back to the 6th position, back 3 positions after that wall tap, and you can see it starting to pay the price, and Travis Beckner is starting to come to the front. We saw him have long run issues on Tuesday night. They're pretty solid on Monday night, although the pit strategy did not go in his favor, I don't believe, but he's still looking very fast. Now he's got Weishart up next.
Weishart on the downfall. He's outside the top 5 now. Beckner is on his bumper down the straightaway. And looking at lap times here, Munsell ran, well, actually Furness and Scioli ran 54.9s, Hearn and Munsell in the 55-second lap times. So they're already a second and a half off as we're halfway through the fuel run. Looking at 30 to 32 laps of fuel. Some might try to stretch it to 35, but you're definitely going to need to do 2 stops in order to make it to the end.
Here comes Weishart.
Yeah, Weishart just came on down, and so a minute ago, Travis Beckner got by into turn 3 and almost, I don't know if there was a touch there or not, but just kind of gave it up. And then Weishart now on pit road. Now, we expected this to be a 2-stop race, guys, so maybe just coming on down now and then come on down from here on out. What, split the difference?
And I'd be shocked if he was giving up. He could be trying to just get a run on. Also might just want to pit just to get the damage repaired.
Turn 2. Greg Mitchell's
Mason
involved and Mason Kane, and he has crashed hard.
Well, that is a gift for David Weishart, I would
say so.
That is incredible timing, but incredibly unfortunate for Greg Mitchell and Mason Kane. Both those cars destroyed. We'll see what happens on this Surmat Market replay. As Let's see, look like Shane Abbey's in it. And, oh, Mason Kane misses his entry badly.
Oh, he's going to get hooked back to the right. Oh, that was nasty.
Oh, my goodness.
That was not nasty. Absolutely.
Oh.
Yeah, back a little bit further. What causes the 31 to just make that right?
You could see him right behind Shane Abbey. His sight line's blocked.
Yeah.
He's not expecting corner entry, and he just misses it flat out. And Mitchell gets spun. And in trying to save it, he gets a 31. No intent there. Just unfortunate for Kane. That's not going to help your night.
Man,
and that could have collected a lot more cars. Look at this.
Big hit. Great work there by everyone to keep it tucked into the inside to avoid a much bigger issue, but this was a big hit for this 31. This will almost certainly be the end of his night.
Yeah, that'll definitely be the end of his night. He's coming down pit road, towed out, facing the outside wall. We'll see how hellacious this looks from here. Huge hit.
Then from on board the number 2.
And to add insult to injury, Kane gets the EOL for that accident. And looking at the points situation, he was 15th in points, just 20 points out of the cutoff. And with that wreck, that's going to put him in a must-win scenario for Talladega as the field comes down pit road.
So this will bring everyone on down except for David Weishart, who I think was just playing a different strategy call, in my opinion, guys. I think coming on down lap 16 early, just break it up a little bit and then split the race in half from there, assuming that you could make it on 2 runs, which I think would be the case. But now he's just going to get to pass everybody and did not even use a single lap of those tires. So I think that's a great stroke of luck for the 33, Connor, and now he'll get that track position that you need so badly. But both the leaders have made huge mistakes in pit road. My goodness.
The 7 missed it, but Furness missed it by a full car length, as they're going to lose a lot. I know the 7's going to lose time, but 28's going to lose more. Hearn, Munsell, Bell, Beckner all get by Scioli, and then it's another 5 cars back to John Furness.
Well, that's shuffling the cards right there. Definitely the 2.5 tire wear definitely had something to do with it. They only did 16 laps, but the fall off here is so incredible.
You know what? They might have made contact. There's damage to the right rear furnace.
I think was it leaving the box here?
Well, Furness got out late, so it had to be on entry. Unless he hit the wall and we didn't see it. Under green.
Now let's go back a little further and see if we can find... Is it already? I don't think it's damaged yet, guys.
Let's see.
Does Scioli get into him here? Yeah, right there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's why he missed it.
That explains it. And then we'll see. It doesn't show up there, but you can see where that damage came from. And when we'll see go live, as you can see, we'll see it. But it's almost looked like they got confused on where their pit boxes were, because Scioli dives low here and then goes outside. This is weird.
Yeah, I mean, so one of the things we talk about on the road racing side in drivers' meetings is there's a transition lane and then there's the fast lane, and you should be in the fast lane until the last couple of stalls before, and they're both kind of, so the 28's doing the right thing here, but the 7 was kind of creeping over to the left before his turn-in point, and I think that's kind of what led to that. But either way, that's not an enforced rule here. It's just a recommendation to avoid situations like that. As we get the 1 to green, we'll re-rack them and restack them with a front row that looks completely different, Connor.
Every row looks completely different. The front 2 rows completely different, and we were talking about before that pit incident, what a gift for David Weishart, going off strategy, and how can you draw that up any better to get the caution right when you pit? Don't even have to use any laps. You don't even have to wear them out anymore. You're on the exact same strategy as everyone else, but you jumped everyone, so that is incredible, and we'll see what he can do with dirty air. I don't know how much damage he was able to repair, because it does still look a little dinged up, but clean air is going to make a big difference regardless.
This will definitely be an interesting restart, because now that puts the 33, it's presumably in clean air if he gets a good jump. That might put the 6 into second along with Hearn, so there's going to be a good battle there. Not to mention Travis Beckner's up here. He's going to restart 4th, second car on that outside line, and not to mention Matthew Bell as well. So this whole restart here, Kyle, is going to be a great thing to watch.
It certainly will be. We got our first look at our SimWrap Market replays tonight. Race fans, be sure to visit simwrapmarket.com for custom iRacing paint scheme templates that are simple to use and help you stay more focused on the racetrack. Let's turn our focus back to the racetrack. Green flag back in the air here at Indy. David Weishart fires out. The 98 pops out in the background. Jeffrey Wilson was getting shuffled wide. And already aggressive moves here as everybody scatters, knowing how hard it is to make moves after the restart happens.
And you got to remember, no restart zone here, so that pace car goes off. You're good to go. And Weishart was attentive to that as he gets a clear lead over Cameron Hearn, who got second from Munsell. And Munsell's going to go back to fourth here. Beckner.
Whoa, trouble, turn
on the
two.
outside.
Cars in the wall in the background. Chuck Sweeting was one of them, and they got it sorted, but they were in the wall pretty hard and just managed to keep it straight.
We'll have to see what happened, but Sweeting honestly doesn't look as damaged as I thought he would be after that hit. Still stuck on the outside, however, as they're almost looking 3 wide with Santo back there. As they're still trying to sort out 2x2. Santo slipping up the track under Gak Joan.
there we go.
He just hit him.
Oh!
Oh, no!
Caution. Austin Gak Joan, his night from bad to worse to crashed.
Wow.
Oh my goodness, 18th in points, another one who is definitely going to need a stroke of luck plus a win. Kind of saw that coming. You could see the 10 slipping up. That thing's junk. Another one towed out.
Having a look at it. And
That
go.
did not help the 8 out at all.
No.
Oh, the 10.
Just sends
Oh, he
Launches
launches
it in there.
sent it in way too much.
Yeah.
Oh,
and then
man.
just how many times Jacob Hudson just got nowhere to go?
Definitely the victim in that. He just absolutely obliterated the driver. So look at the air that 8 car got.
Wow.
Steve Durham barely got through. We saw all that unfold.
I'll say he's probably going to have the best view of this.
Thank goodness for safer barriers, even virtual ones.
Wow, look at that. That thing just got
4 wheels.
sent. Steve Durham.
The virtual roof flaps doing their job.
Yeah, exactly. Steve
Yes.
Durham did get a great view of this. Let's right on board with Steve.
Probably had a view of Chuck Sweeting, too. Wow, really sideways at 3.
Yeah, the 10 just doesn't get down. He just missed the corner. And then they get together right here. Oh, that impact is so hard.
It's a product of it. We've talked about it, how you kind of lose your line of vision for the entries of these corners when we're all packed up. That could have been the case of that, because it just fired it in a little too deep. And you fire it in too deep, you're not going to recover.
Oh, you can hear how vicious that impact was.
Gosh.
And then while we've got a moment, let's also go back and look at Chuck Sweeting's incident leaving turn number 2. Now, I don't remember who he got in. Maybe it was the 5 of Garrett Grant here. Right? Yeah, they just get together. And he almost hit the where that guardrail is.
The gate.
The gate, the crossover gate, and that would have been even nastier right here.
Look at Shane Therian. Wow.
Diving to miss it.
Got 2 for 1 thanks to that, I believe.
The who was the 62 of Alex Weaver? Probably got a pretty good perspective of it.
Oh, yeah, they just came together. No fault of anyone, just no room.
There's plenty of room. They're just all using the same areas on the track together. I mean, the track is wide, but the line is not, I guess is the way to just say that.
Yes,
But
definitely a wide track.
Yeah, second caution of the day, working lap 22 of 80, and this is going to re-rack things again. The top 5 really hasn't shuffled, although Travis Beckner did gain a spot up to 3rd, so he will restart on the inside behind, in theory, David Weishart.
By the way, I'm still trying to pay attention to Firecracker prelims. Brett Slaughter, there's about 6 laps to go. He's running 4th. That would be transfer.
All right.
Cross your fingers for him.
Don't be jinxing him.
I said cross your fingers. I'm not saying nothing.
Well, one thing I noted on that last restart, the 17 of Jordan Martin, he did not go at all, and the car right behind him, John Furness, paid the price dearly. So for this restart, Furness is going to restart 10th, but he'll be behind the 84 of Shane Abbey. Meanwhile, Scioli, he got a good restart, so he's back in 5th. He'll be the 3rd car on the bottom, but hopefully a much better restart for the 28 of Furness this time.
Restart right after this.
Ni gusta tu vestido.
Dime más.
Tus manos parecen muy suaves.
¡Dime más!
Tu pelo es perfecto para la forma de tu cara.
¡Dime más!
Back live from Indianapolis, the area of Florida Estate Builders Pro Series, round number 11 from Indianapolis Motor Speedway, getting set for a restart here, working lap 23 of 80. 3 cars retired, James Coey, Mason Kane, and Austin Gack-Jones, those most recent 2 after a pretty heavy impact out of turn 4, Connor. We're getting set for the restart here with Cameron Hearn and Weishart on the front row.
So good to have a restart. Weishart gets. The admins have told drivers to keep it close. We almost saw the accordion effect with Jeffrey Wilson at the back. They're trying to prevent that, but we'll see what type of jump Weishart gets. He got clear to the lead and let Cameron Hearn go 3rd to 2nd, and it lost to Munsell 2 positions. We'll see if Beckner can take advantage.
All right, here we go. Coming back to the restart zone and back underway from Indy. David Weishart gets a good, clean launch, and he's going to drag Beckner with him as they head to turn 100.
Yep. Weishart to the lead, no question about that. Beckner going to be looking for 2nd, and Scioli, that's going to be a position for 3rd, although Hearn's still fighting back on the outside in turn 2.
Through turn 2 now. Hearn trying to cling to that quarter panel of the 27. Down the back straightaway, they're still door-to-door, and here comes Scioli with a big run, but where do you go?
You got nowhere to go. You follow whoever's got the advantage, but neither of them do dead even in the turn 3. This is where we saw the 28 dive in deep lap 1 to get the position. Cameron Hearn couldn't. Beckner's forcing the issue, not giving the 67 any room. He's got the position.
And Hearn's going to back off so they can make the corner, but still going to be close on the bumper
Crossover.
of Beckner. Yep, just crossed him over. Now the 7's going to go with the 67. And look at the line of cars that went with him. No one went with Beckner, but they're going to want to go back up to get a perfect arc into turn 1.
Oh, look out. The 67 had a real late turn in. And it's going to slide across the nose of Travis Beckner. But they all make it out turn 1 in one piece. Somehow Munsell to the inside of the 7.
Aggressive move to the inside. No room between the 2. That was incredible. It's not going to work. Matthew Bell, I believe teammates to Scioli, is going to go with the 7, and Scioli's going to clear him back anyways as Bell's just trying to get a position. But what a move by Cameron Hearn. You do not see a crossover at Indianapolis very often.
7 is going to have the room to close the door. A little further back, Tom Bourne, Shane Therian. These guys going at it for the 12th spot with Jordan Martin in front of them. Here comes Therian low, looking for 12th. They'll take it away from Bourne. And now a little further back, it's Weaver and Anna Sogok battling for the 14th spot. And here comes Garrett Grant making it 3 wide on the bottom.
Somebody scraped the wall there, didn't catch. I think it was the 64 of Robertson that might have just nicked it out of turn 4, but will stay the right direction at least. Weishart and Hearn, 3/10 separated. Whoa, the 98 got tight to the wall at the exit of 1. Now, can Weishart drive away like Furness did?
You see he's trying to. He's trying to break the draft. We haven't seen that from the leader so far, but not really doing much. Cameron Hearn about 3 miles per hour faster into turn 3 there, as we didn't see the 28 pull away until maybe we had about 7 laps on the tires, and that gap started to expand a bit. So we'll have to wait until then to see what happens. Probably see around lap 30 if we get to that point with Weishart in the lead, but not getting good runs off the corners. Hearn's got a big run.
Will it be a big enough run to send it down into turn 1? He's got the nose peeking to the inside. He's going to think better of it, tuck back in. Beckner's wanting it to happen, though, because then he could close in and make it a 3-horse race for the lead.
Yeah, I think that's his goal, sit behind him, and when they get side by side and slow each other down, that's when Beckner could sneak in there and steal a spot back. And here, the tires at work right now, and Weishart is definitely getting tracked down. And for how long is Hearn going to sit there? No longer, Connor.
Yeah, he got a big run. I think that damage is still affecting the 33 because he had no runs out of the corners so far, even on fresh tires. So 67 to the front.
Wow, man. I thought he was setting up. For a crossover there, Connor, and he's still giving room down on the bottom. Hearn is to the 33 of Weishart, but to no avail. Hearn's going to come back through with the lead this time by across the stripe, and now Beckner has his eyes set on Weishart for second.
Weishart hasn't made it super hard to get by tonight. And that will not change with the 27. Beckner gets on through and opens the door for Scioli. But in doing so, Justin Munsell is going to size up both of them. He's going to have a big run out of 2. Here he comes.
Is he going to go 3 wide? No, I thought he'd take that, but he's just going to shove Scioli by, and both of them will pass Weishart together here, possibly. We'll see if Weishart fights in the 3. He will stay on the door of Munsell, but you can see giving one driver the bottom is going to put you all the way back, because now Matthew Bell is going to take advantage. And then it's going to be Nick Silver, who we haven't talked about tonight. And then just here comes the entire field at that point.
Yeah, all single file. Now Silver going to go with the 43 of Bell on the inside of Weishart down the straightaway. So Weishart drops out of the top 5 as Bell's going to look to complete the pass in turn 1. Weishart's still there, though.
Still clinging to it. He's just getting freight trained now, definitely going the wrong direction. And this is not because he's got 2 more laps on his tires. He does have 2 more laps in the stint that he's run, but those were both under yellow. So this is just, he just doesn't have the pace. And this is strange, Connor, because he had so much pace on Monday.
Yeah,
Oh, boy, the damage is just getting too bad, I think.
I think so. You can just tell he's really got nothing to fight. And he's definitely going to need some help to have a decent finish by the time this race is over. As you can see, he's getting as close to that wall as he can as he's finally let everyone in, I guess, this pack go. And so that will put him, I believe, in the 10th position behind Chris Rabel. He's just going to shove Rabel, won't even attempt to pass back. And he'll try to get away from Shane Therian, who would be next in line, who's got Tom Bourne pushing him.
And Rabel with a good bounce-back effort up to 9th after a disappointing run on Monday night. So good to see that there. But Beckner closing in on Hearn for the lead. If he gets a good run here down the back, he might make the move heading into 3.
Last time by, he was a 10th quicker than Cameron Hearn. Did slide the tires a touch through turn 2, but it hasn't slowed him down so far. And I think the goal here, Connor, is to get that clean air before you lose all the good of the new tires, although we're already 12 laps into the stint. So if he can get by Cameron now, I don't think anyone will be able to run him back down once the tires start to burn up, unless he burns his own stuff a lot quicker.
Say you're going to have to fight really hard to get by Hearn, even on new tires. And then once you do get by him, it might be another situation where he does burn his stuff off, like you said, and then comes, when he comes back to the 67 or even the 7, Scioli is still lurking there as well, as is Justin Munsell. So yes, you need to drive a little bit hard because you need that clean air on the nose, but if you get it and you have no tires, what difference does it make? So Beckner's really got to be careful about that.
Hearn looking for a 2nd win of the season. Beckner looking for his 1st win of the season, although he's locked in on points alone. And then we got Jeffrey Wilson now who's made a pit road.
Yeah, it looks like he's got some more damage and is going to call it a night, unfortunately. Robertson, Mitchell, Durham, and Chuck Sweeting in a little bit of a 4-car gaggle here, back for 19th place. And Durham is going to whoa, I don't think he did that intentionally. He's way high in turn 3.
Working in the high line a little bit. There is none here, though. But I think he wanted Robertson to go by and just ended up letting all of them by. So I'll put him, I believe, 22nd. Last driver on the lead lap after the incidents that we've had is pretty much single filed out at this point. Hearn's expanded his gap by about a 10th over Beckner. And Skyly Munsell Bell. Pretty much all single file here as it gets more spread out.
Yeah, Jacob Hudson's the only driver 1 lap down in this race. Everyone else behind him has retired. Jeffrey Wilson, Austin Gakjo, and Mason Kane, James Coey. 23 cars left in the race, 22 on the lead lap, and all going for that 1 spot. That's being led by Hearn, and go on board with Furness, who's still trying to work his way through the field.
Out front early, led the first 17 laps of this race. As far down as 12th after that pretty terrible pit stop with some contact with the 7 and that first run down pit road after the first caution. Now is slowly carving his way back forward. Has a look to the inside of Nick Silver, but Nick isn't going to give him to him just yet. There's a little bit of give and take here, Connor. It's a little bit like Darlington, where you get up alongside someone or even to their corner, just going to ask very nicely to get let by, because sometimes that side-by-side doesn't go so well, and looks like Nick is going to concede this one.
Yeah, just going to give it up in turn 2. As give and take is very important at a track like this. And that's what we've seen with Weishart. He's been very courteous about not going side by side through the corners while it has put him down the order. it goes a long way towards respect, and that's a big thing here, especially at Indy. You need to have a lot of respect for your competitors, because if you go too close to each other into the corners, it's not going to end very pretty. So the case of that there, Silver having a solid run. He's up from 13th, up 6 positions to 7th, as John Furnace still trying to claw his way back, even with...
Weishart just... Did he smack the wall coming out of 4? He got real close to it.
Very close. He's going to lose a spot to Alex Weaver. Here's a look at it again. Real tight. Yep, he did just graze it with the quarter panel. He will drop in behind the 62 of Weaver, and I think Jordan Martin won a piece of that as well.
You can tell it's just going bad to worse for the 33. Got a stroke of luck, but just unfortunately doesn't have the pace to maintain it. As Jordan Martin, you can see just the amount of speed that 33 is missing down the straightaway. It's a good 3-4 miles an hour at the end of the straightaways. He's hitting 187. Jordan Martin hits 191. So that's how big the difference is, as he'll go back to 14th.
Santo out of line here in 3.
Still trying to get the outside line rolling. Oh, almost got it rolling into another driver.
Look at Cameron Hearn weaving to try to keep Beckner from drafting up by. I've always found this doesn't work that great in stock cars, Connor. It just makes you run a longer distance, but it makes you feel better, and Cameron probably needs a little bit of that with the 27 breathing down his neck.
Well, like how egregiously he did it. He didn't get up into a proper place to make the entry to the corner, and you could see that caused Beckner to close in even more than he would have if he wasn't breaking a draft. So you can do it, but you got to do it in moderation. You got to be smart about it and make your entry back, and Hearn didn't do it there. I think he thinks better down the back. He doesn't do it at all, and Beckner is right on the bumper now as Scioli's reeling both of them in.
Also, you gotta wonder if you're doing it that sharp, that's going to create more wear on the tires,
Yes.
especially on a surface like Indianapolis.
Yeah, that's another issue. You don't really want to do it too much. You can't break it up too much, or else your tires are just going to be cooked. Not smart, in my opinion. We'll see if he does it again.
Might be a bit inevitable that Beckner is going to get there, but you defend well enough and you keep him behind you for long enough, just following the 67 will wear out the front tires on Beckner. But you see him trying to get down a little bit below the 67 on corner entry just to have a bit more air on the nose. You see just that gap open up as he's following that arrow shadow. It's like driving through boat wake, but in 3 dimensions. And Hearn pulls away slightly on the backstretch.
Beckner will close in a little bit, but not too much, as everyone you see these top 5 packing up now, as these 5 are really close, and John Furnace is closing in on those 5 as well. So really 6 cars that are really close on speed. Hearn was 2/10 slower than Scioli. Beckner was in the middle of them both. So everyone's converging on one another here. It's only a matter of time before the cork gets popped.
How much longer until it is, though, as we ride in car with Beckner and get a feel for how the 27 handles his mobile going into the turn. And if they keep doing this for too long, the 28 of Furnace might catch it. He's about 4 car lengths back from Matthew Bell. Still looking to make up some more track position after the Babbel on pit road, but he is definitely a driver on the move. As behind him, though, it's Abby and Rabel going at it for 8th and 9th.
Yeah, pretty good scrap forming here. And Shane Therian getting a shove from Tom Bourne's going to split him 3 across, 3 wide at Indianapolis. Who bails out?
None of them.
Oh, that ain't going to work. The 84 is way offline. He's going to have to bail. He'll lose 2, maybe 3 spots in this. Old, but didn't work out.
I have bad news. I think I did Jake Spratt slaughter.
Oh.
I tried telling you.
Commentator curse at a distance.
They're doing
cars in the wall in the background.
Oh.
That was, who was that? Casey
Lakatos.
Lakatos. Yep, that just got into the wall far off in the distance there. Quite get a good read on it.
9th in points. Can't afford a pretty bad finish. That's going to put him all the way to the back.
Yeah, and consistency has really been his strategy. And you don't want to end your day early with an impact to the wall like that. Closing in on halfway here, and this battle for 8th is pretty solid. Therian, Rabel, Bourne, Weaver, Martin, Abbey, and Weishart, and Sogak all involved in this little scrum.
I think Eric Grant hanging back, and then it's another few seconds at Robertson, so it's almost looking like a super speedway race. We got multiple packs right now, at least 3 of them at this point, and all single file, just trying to get going. But sure, some of them won't be single file for too long, but Hearn is getting away from Beckner. and Scioli is getting closer to that rear bumper of the 28 Supra. 27, excuse me.
Remember when they did try to make Indy like a super speedway for the Xfinity cars?
We don't speak of it. Produced a good stage finish. That's about it.
I was reminded of the high downforce package at New Hampshire the other day.
Yeah, the super speedway package at a mile track.
Yeah, that didn't
It's
go
also
so
not the
good.
first time they did that.
I know, that was the other thing. They've done it a couple of times. Once after the throttle sticking situations of the late 90s and early 2000s, and once again, most recently with the Generation 6 NASCAR Cup cars. So Hearn is beginning to extract the speed out of his number 67 and build a bit of a gap on Beckner. And this is the point when Beckner doesn't have tires to drive up there and go by and pass him. So you kind of establish your spots now. And now, as long as no one burns their stuff off immediately quick, they're going to be just fine running how they are. But now you're planning your next pit stop. We're 22 laps in, guys. Let's start thinking about making it to the end.
Yeah, definitely got to start thinking about that pit stop. We're really 2/3 through what I would think would be your tire stint here. Everyone pit around lap 17 for their first set on tires. Really lap 17 coming to lap 18. So yeah, logic dictates probably the pit stops would probably start around lap 50. We might see around 45. Might see drivers coming earlier to get that undercut. We also might see drivers go long trying to catch a caution and just get fresher tires to the end. So around that lap 50 spot is where I'd be looking.
Yeah, 50. If you pin a lap 50, you're good to go. If this, oh boy, that is close quarters racing with 16 of Bourne and then Shane Abbey there. David Weishart also in the middle of this as well. But if you pin on lap 50 and this goes green to the end, you should be good on fuel. But if we got another yellow, everyone's going to be wanting to come down pit road.
Alex Weaver having just a nibble at the 29 of Rabel. And for second place, Travis Beckner, I think he's starting to get that sinking feeling someone's right behind him.
Yeah, Scioli big run at it too. Beckner struggling on the exits. We'll see if Beckner fights. No, he will not. Just giving a spot to Scioli. Munsell trying to get the advantage, but Scioli drifted up. Gonna be a crossover move.
Oh, he's in the wall!
Oh, wow.
Wow, that is a unforced mistake there, and now he's gonna have to deal with damage. Beckner back to runner-up, and Munsell's gonna take advantage of it. That is a rare mistake.
And now here comes Matthew Bell. He's going to follow the tire tracks of the 6 of Munsell down the straightaway. Beckner's actually going to block heading into turn 1. Munsell still looking low for the position. Heading in the turn. Going to be very tight, but the 7 of Scioli going to drop back a few spots.
We're going to try to cross over the 43. Got loose mid-corner. And John Furness looking on. His rival, probably in this race, just based on pace alone,
Look at this.
is right ahead of him down the backstretch.
You know he's loving this, Cameron Hearn. That's what we're talking about, side by side, losing you time. Look at the gap he just opened up right here. He is gone, 1.4 seconds, all from that little skirmish in turn 3, and that is huge.
Still fighting for that spot. 43 a little bit too high. 7 of Scioli's going to have a better line going into turn 4. Bell washing up the track on board with Furness as he's underneath the 43, knocking on the door for a top 5. Going to be side by side down the straightaway, but Beckner still holding off the 6 of Munsell for the time being.
For the time being, at least. Let's have a look at that skirmish, and it was just the 7, just the slightest mistake, Connor. But it's enough to put you in the wall here.
I wonder if Beckner lifting threw him off, thinking he had to pull a slide job, and then just ran out of room, and he hit it with the right rear, but then slapped the right front on it, which is really going to hurt his long run speed regardless. You can see some right front damage, and around the right rear fender, around the tires damage. So you can see he's already kind of struggling as Munsell does the same move. Looks like he'll be cleaner on exit of 3, and he's runner-up now.
Yeah, it looked like Beckner just got on the brakes early and let him go. I think he saw the writing on the wall for that particular scenario. Look at this. Some side-by-side with the 43 of Bell and John Furness, inches apart out of turn 4. The 10 behind him, Andrew Santo, came to pit lane a little while ago and is on some fresh tires. Casey Lakatos has just come down pit road as well.
Honestly surprised. Looked like Bell let Furness by the lap before and then challenged him back. That could be a product of the damage hurting Furness at the end of the straightaways and Bell having no choice. But also could be him just trying to look out for Scioli, but I think Furness might get away too far from the 43 this time as Santo looks on.
Yeah, that 10 car is giving me PTSD from what happened at Pocono.
Yes.
I don't want a repeat of that, but 6 of Munsell looking to make up some ground. I was just going to touch up before the skirmish in the wall with the 7. Then the top 5, that lap before the 7 made contact with the wall, Beckner ran a 55.7. Everyone else ran a 55.5. So it was a matter of time before people started getting around the 27 of Beckner. And you could just tell Munsell's made up 3 car lengths since passing the 28 or 27, excuse me, making up ground on the 68 as they're knocking on the door for pit stops nearing in that window.
Yeah, I think we've seen a couple drivers already come on down. I think the next 5-6 laps you'll start to see a lot more drivers come on down. We're 27 laps into this run and about 30, we're about 35 away from the end of the race. So about 5 laps from now, you're going to split this right in half, just like I thought we would do. And for everyone else, the game is save your tires until then. 1 second. And shrinking for Cameron Hearn out front. Connor Munsell a little quicker last time by half a second quicker.
Yeah, a lot of that was because I think there was confusion between Hart and Lakatos on who was running where into 3. It cost him a little bit of time, but even still, a pretty sizable gap for Indianapolis. But even 1 lap of undercutting will get you the lead if you're Justin Munsell. So this run, Cameron Hearn's fastest lap of 53.4, last time by a 55.7. So that's how big the fall off is. Even if you were James Scioli, you pit undercut by 1 lap, you could get the lead as well. So I think that undercut is going to be utilized, just a matter of who's going to utilize it.
You see the onboard there of Munsell. Was a 10th quicker that last time compared to Cameron Hearn. He ran a 55.7, Munsell a 55.6, and gonna want to make up as much ground as he can. I don't know if he's got another 10th or 2 in him. If he can get it down to under a second before pit stops. Oh, and I think Beckner might have just made contact with the wall.
Very close if he didn't. Let's have another look at it. Right there. Nope, I don't think he got it.
I don't think he hit it, but he's sure tried, I would say. As even last time by, he was faster than Scioli, and even still, he's still about 0.2 faster than that 7. You can see he is starting to hold up John Furness and Matthew Bell here, as his chances at another win are fading away just a little bit.
And now he's got the 10 of Santo underneath him, the new fresher tires for the 10 of Santo. Going to be difficult as lap traffic works their way back towards the leaders, because you got all that freshness underneath the car, the fresh tires, but these guys are still battling for position. Like Santo right now is in the middle of a top 5 battle, and now he's forcing the issue with the 28 of Furness as Hearn continues to lead in turn 4.
So with 1 pit stop left on the horizon, do we expect any more yellows? We're seeing groups of cars, which definitely isn't as safe as the way we were running on Monday night. Pretty single and lone in formation, Connor. Do you think we might get 1 more, maybe 2 more, maybe 3 more towards the end of this race if that chaos picks up, or are we going green to the end?
Consider I never jinx anything. I'm gonna say no. I don't think so, though. I think it's spread out enough. It's gonna be uncommon if it happens. It's gonna be a weird one if it happens. So not expecting 1. Green flag stops. It's not really potential for cautions entering pit road unless you miss it by that much. So we'll see. I don't expect it, but you never know, as Matthew Bell still battling John Furness. Will not let him have a crack at Scioli. I'm sure the 28's furious about it, but it's racing. What happens? We go car racing here.
Wow, they're racing near that wall as Furness keeping it on the outside. Bell down low. Side by side through turn 4 as Scioli heads off to pit road. Now it's a battle for 4th as the 7 makes its way on pit road. Don't think anyone else in front of him did pit, but that opens the window for the rest of the field to come on down.
Yeah, David Weissart also coming on down. Oh, look out! That was very tight.
Hit.
Oh, Bell had to bail out. That was very close.
Well, speaking of coming on down.
Yeah, Furness sure did.
Oh, boy.
Gave him nothing.
Yeah, Bell definitely cut him a break there, I'll say.
I think that's just Furness being frustrated about getting battled, but it's what happens. It just I mean, 4-3 was sort of off the line, but you got to give him a little bit more room than that.
You know what
to
I
not
like
get crashed.
about watching iRacing, though, versus other games I've just, more casual games, is that we saw the 43 of Bell do everything in his power not to hit John Furness. And that's cool. We get to go racing. We get to carry on. The battles continue. And he could have very easily not done that as Justin Munsell hits pit lane, and he will drag a handful more with him. Looks like Furness, Nick Silver, Chris Rabel, Justin Adesogak, and Garrett Grant.
And if I'm Cameron Hearn, that's my cue. I should probably pit. Fresher tires at the end is pretty important, but the way they're falling off, they continue to fall off. And the amount of time you gain from just one lap of undercutting, I'm not sure if that's something that's going to be easy to recover, especially with how hard it is to pass here. So I would pretty much respond at this point. I know responding like that's not really what you want to do, but I would do it.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I might have been seeing things, but did the 28 back up into his pit again?
Think so. Don't think you're seeing things.
I'm trying to look for myself. Yes, he did.
Just a little bit, but he did.
Not as bad. I don't think that'll completely kill him. As here come the leaders, Hearn and Beckner in. See how hard Beckner pushes on entry. Matthew Bell. This will bring in pretty much everyone else. Therian, Weaver, Martin. The whole field.
Born.
Should pick up a lap lead here.
Should.
Points.
Yeah, there you go. There's one.
All right. Success.
All right. Now.
Oh, Beckner missed his stall as well.
So this is tense moments here as we wait for drivers that have already pit to come around. Again, Cameron Hearn had a lead, so it's not going to completely disappear. But there's Cameron Hearn, and if you're looking for Justin Munsell and Scioli, here they come by the shot. And there's 43 leaving pit lane. Travis Beckner just ahead.
That's going to be close.
Yeah, Hearn had a great sequence to be able to stay this close to Scioli and Munsell, but I think those two will clear him. Just a matter of how quickly can Hearn get back by as he's trying to shut the door maybe. I thought maybe on Munsell for a second. That was close, maybe just trying to scare him, but Munsell does get by as these three have really gotten away from John Furness and Travis Beckner.
Well, we'll see if the 7 can tally up some laps and rally away from the 6 and the 67. Oddly enough, these three it looked like they were the odds-on favorite to win this race. Not sure if the 7 thought he'd be in this predicament after making contact with the wall, but nonetheless still in front of the 6 and the 67.
Yeah, the damage on the right front doesn't look super bad. He hasn't led a lap yet this race. Oh, that was a big slide, though, and Munsell got close to it as well. Don't want to throw it away now, but I think James's car is in pretty good shape compared to drivers like David Weishart, for example, who we saw have pretty adverse effects from the wall contact he had. And here's Beckner and John Furness, who are right now battling for 6th place, but that will cycle to be for 4th.
And they almost had to come together as Beckner came out of the pits into turn 3. John Furness once again gave him the pinch and almost contact. Beckner backs out, and now they're on top of one another. Beckner with fresher tires trying to get by as Munsell and Hearn come closer together for second, what would be second.
Beckner trying to make the most of his tires in the early run before things get too far gone with the wear on the tires. But Chuck Sweeting, Steve Durham still have yet to pit. But when they do, the battle for the lead will be between the 7, the 6, and the 67.
Cameron Hearn all over the tailpipes of Justin Munsell. Munsell picks center track down the back straightaway to dissuade Hearn from doing this. Peeking to the inside, but he's not far enough alongside. He's going to close in the braking zone here, though. And I'm sure Hearn would just like to battle Scioli on his own, but he's not in that position yet. Same is true back here between Beckner and Furness. This is a trade for 6th.
Furness paying the price for overshooting his stall and just not pitting at the right time. Beckner will get by and likely drive away a tiny bit. Well, behind them, Matthew Bell also paid the price. He lost some positions. Nick Silver jumped him as he'll go to the inside of that 46 to likely get this position done.
Yep, he'll take it over as they head into turn 1, makes the move and the pass. But Nick Silver doing a solid job. Once this is all cycled through, he'll be in 7th, guys. Very good spot for him. Rabel, Weinsart, and Therian will cycle to be the top 10. But a really quiet night from the 46 of Silver and doing a mighty fine job of handling that race car.
Yeah, sometimes the quiet nights are the best ones, and Nick Silver has quietly found his way inside the top 10 after starting down in 13th. Anytime that you start kind of midfield and you make your way forward, it's a good, solid points night. That will pay dividends later in the year. Justin Munsell tracking down Scioli, and Cameron Hearn has tracked him down. So they are 3 drivers that are battling for what will cycle to be the lead when Sweeting and Durham hit pit lane. Neither have, so this is for 3rd for now.
You can see Scioli starting to struggle a little bit. He was keeping pace. Now Munsell closing in as the tires heat up, and Hearn closing in on both of them. How many times have I seen 3 drivers on different tires closing in on one another? Sorry, I see it all the time at Indy, but this is good stuff. They're all over one another, and they are catching Steve Durham. So if he doesn't pit this time, it might get dicey. Munsell's looking. He's going to go to the outside.
Oh, bold move. Hearn going to look all the way low, then come back up as the field works their way into turn 3. 6 car on the outside. Not going to be enough. It's going to tuck back in line. Might have to set him up here going down the front stretch, but they are catching Steve Durham.
Big commitment.
Scioli hit the curb.
Big commitment there from Justin Munsell, but here comes Cameron Hearn. We're going to be 3 wide, aren't we, boys?
No.
Here we go. Hearn's going to move hard left into turn 1, side by side into turn 1. The 6 of Munsell way outside. Can he stick to the road?
They're still 3 wide. I've never seen this in Indianapolis, as they're going to stay 3 wide through 1 and 2, and neither driver giving an inch. Munsell too far up the track. He has no choice but to concede. It's Scioli somehow going to keep the lead out of this.
Hearn still on the bottom, but Scioli has the 6 of Munsell pushing him down the straightaway. That was an incredible send from the 6. I don't know how he didn't fence it. And they're still going at it.
That was unbelievable. And here comes the 67 slotting ahead of the 6 of Munsell. He will put himself as the meat in the sandwich. Now dives late to the inside in turn number 4 on Scioli. Cameron Hearn is on a mission to win this race, and he is doing everything in his power to do it. 25, make it 24 laps to go next time by. And Hearn powers his way to the front, but here comes Munsell back on the inside.
Munsell took advantage of side by side. He got a big run back to the bottom. Does he have anything to fight with Hearn, though? Hearn's going to shut the door on the 6. All over the rear bumper goes Munsell, but nothing doing. Cameron Hearn, what a job to get the lead. And look at how much ground Travis Beckner and John Furness gained by that skirmish. That was some of the most incredible racing I've seen at Indianapolis.
Oh, and Furness might have clipped the wall there coming out of 2, but now the 6 has to regroup and refocus, has his eyes set on the 67, although a lap pressure tires for Hearn. He's got that clean air, and he's starting to drive away slowly but surely from that 6.
Yeah, he's put himself in position with an aggressive move to the left on the front straightaway. That was unlike anything I've ever seen here at Indianapolis. Let's have a look at this. They come down into turn 1, 3 wide. I have just never seen this work as well as it did here, Connor.
This doesn't happen. This doesn't even happen in Indy cars. Nothing happens like this ever here. Munsell, I thought he was going to be able to do it all 2 turns, but just not enough grip to stay on the outside of Scioli. And then as they come, you see, this is the run as Steve Durham pits. This is the run. Both of them got a run on Scioli. Cameron Hearn was just looking for a way to get by both of them and finally found ground on the bottom and had to really keep it nice and tidy to that curb to stay down there. That was incredible.
Yeah, absolutely unbelievable job from all 3 of those guys. Great racing. But now they're all separated, and Beckner slowly reeling in that 7 car of Scioli's within a second of him now. But 4 car lengths separate the 67 and the 6.
Great racing and closing in on 20 laps to go. Cameron Hearn out front. We're done pitting unless we get a yellow flag, guys. It's just here in the drivers from here on out. Hearn slightly quicker, about 800ths faster last time by. 0.3 is the difference. Make it 4 now through turn 1. Elsewhere in the field, the battles have mostly fizzled, just embers glowing, waiting to rekindle here as we get closer to the end of this race. Casey Lakatos back down on pit lane, and it looks like that right side has been flattened.
Yeah, not sure if he hit it again. He pit lap 43, so he definitely pit earlier than everyone else, and we did not notice. So wonder if he was not good on fuel or he did hit it hard again, but we'll see how that works out for him. Unfortunate, because he is close to that cut line, did not need a night like this with Alex Weaver running all right in 12th place. Also, didn't even notice his until now. Bryce Senesac not here.
Got to be here to play for the points, Hunter.
Yep.
Yep, Senesac and Fambro not here, so going to be very tight for Talladega next week. Just like this battle for 5th is the tightest thing on the track. Bell behind Furness, 5th and 6th as they roll through turn 1.
Matthew Bell's had a pretty solid night. See Furness, he's slapped that right rear against the wall a couple of times. Matthew Bell, though, started 7th, kind of running where he was, but looking for one spot better to have a top 5 to say at the end of the night. And looks like Furness is just going to lift and facilitate that pass as up the road, Beckner passed Scioli for 3rd place.
Yep, Beckner's by, hit on lap 50 compared to the race leader Cameron Hearn, who hit, I believe this, actually they hit the same lap, excuse me. So Beckner, I think, missed a stall by a little bit. So same tires, but because that 3-wide battle is really where Beckner gained his time. But Matthew Bell, I believe, has a little bit fresher tires.
How about that? 180 miles an hour past the bricks.
Not a sight like it.
On that last lap, Hearn ran a 54.5, Munsell a 54.8, Beckner a 54.9, although he was completing the pass. But the tires are definitely fading on the 6 from being on that outside 3-wide. And Hearn is boot scooting and boogieing out of here.
The best he can. Jordan Martin looking at David Weishart here for 10th. Weishart fell backwards very quickly after getting lucky at that timing of the first yellow. Got himself up front, but went backwards, and I think he's probably in a position to do something similar on this final run. He pit slightly earlier than most of those behind him.
He'll likely have a struggle to the end as he falls back to 11th. Then 12th place Alex Weaver. Next in line to take a crack at the Matco Tools Camaro. Then a decent gap to Justin Sogak, who looking for a good run. He's improved his position to 13th. Tom Bourne's also improved his position. He's going to get that 13th position from the 88 as they go side by side. No challenge from Sogak, as, like you said, his battle's fizzling just a little bit right now, but top 5 still decently close.
There is Alex Weaver passing the 33 of David Weishart. That is for position for 11th on the track. So Weishart down to 12th. Weaver on the charge up. Now 1 spot away from the top 10.
Yeah, good stuff all the way around here as we get down to the final 15 minutes or so of this race. 19 laps, and they will go pretty quickly, assuming that we have no more yellows along the way. Race fans, be sure to check out rickshotsauce.com for some of the best hot sauces made locally in South Florida. Try the Loxahatchee Classic, Golden Garlic, Palm Beach Pineapple, or South Beach Heat. Follow the Rick's Hot Sauce Rookie of the Year battle in the Area Cup Series and see which driver will take home the $100 prize as the highest finishing rookie in the point standings. And I guess before we wrap up tonight, one more time here for Babbel. Summer is a season of travel. What better way to spend it than traveling across the world, visiting countries like Spain, Italy, Japan, or even France? Worried about the language barrier? Babbel is here to help you learn a new language in as little as 3 weeks. Babbel is one of the top language learning apps in the world that teaches you real-world conversations like travel, business, relationships, and more. Lessons designed by real language teachers to have you ready for the occasion. Not a fan? No problem. Babbel comes with a 20-day money-back guarantee. Babbel, made for traveling, so you can keep babbling. And in the Twitch chat, twitch.tv/area iRacing, use exclamation point Babbel in chat to get up to 60% off at Babbel. Well, 17 laps to go now, and Matthew Bell passed Scioli here for 4th place. The 7 is fading. And while he will go to Talladega next week with no real concerns on his mind, I think he had opportunity to win this race, Connor. It just didn't quite fall his way to get number 8 so far.
Yeah, it was really that pass on Beckner that he couldn't complete cleanly is what really sticks out. I think he had speed to chase down the race leader, but that damage has really set him back. It forced him to really go into a different strategy. I don't think he really wanted the short pit, but he had to force the issue on strategy. And while it was a great defense and a great moment, it didn't work out for him as he'll fall maybe outside the top 5, depending on what John Furness does here.
It also didn't help being in that 3-wide battle with the earlier pit stop and more wear on the tires, but that benefit the 67 of Hearn and the 6 of Munsell, although more so on the Hearn because he's got 1 second lead. Meanwhile, in the back, here's Shane Abbey. Garrett Grant, 15th and 16th on the racetrack. Up and down day for the Abbey machine.
Yeah, Garrett Grant has had not the greatest day ever, running 16th after starting in 19th. I guess he's moved forward slightly, but a little bit of a rocky one. And John Furness is now catching Scioli for 5th.
See if he has a run down the front straightaway. You can see him setting him up. That's how he kind of set up. You got to enter a little higher to get this lower exit. The clean air on exit's what's really going to be important. As driver down close to the inside wall, Jacob Hudson led in the field by also Andrew Santo pitting. As you can see, he got a run from doing that. Just wasn't really close enough to do much with it.
Oh, now is this going to affect these two? They roll through turn 1 and 2. Hudson kind of going to land right at the wrong spot here at corner exit. No, he'll get out of the way.
Well, Munsell rubbered it in, so it'll work a little better.
Single-handedly.
Look
Here
at
it
the run
comes.
that gave Furness.
Furness looking low. Scioli going to keep his line on the outside as they roll into turn 3, and I don't think it's going to be much of a question there. 28 completes the pass on Scioli.
Yeah, nicely done. Move John Furness back up into 5th place. So, Hunter, you and I, we picked the drivers that are running 1st and 2nd. How you feeling about your pick?
I'm there. Like, it's just always so close. He's been so good these last few weeks, been able to get up to 2nd. And tonight he's finally in front of the 7, but he's got to be in front of the 67 now.
Yeah, Cameron Hearn, my pick to win this race, and I'll be honest, I didn't really think that he would be in position to do it, but he's led half the race so far, and with just under a quarter of it left to go, I think he's in a good spot to get it done.
Definitely in the best spot, I would say. It's not like he's at a tire disadvantage. He's got good tires to the end, so it's going to be tough for Munsell and even anyone else to make up more than a 1.2 second gap. So definitely in a good spot. Even if we get it yellow, he's in a good spot because he's not a track you really want to do 2 tires at. Track position matters, but we've seen the tire wear is excessive. So 4 tires is, I would say, where it's at. Is some battles starting to get going. I said Weaver and Jordan Martin were about the battle, but Jordan Martin moves over for Weaver. David Weishart and Tom Bourne are next to each other, but also this 43 of Matthew Bell starting to close in on Travis Beckner.
This is the battle to talk to us after the race. Who wants it more? Bell or Beckner want to talk to us more? Oh, and looks like Munsell's closed about a 10th or so on Hearn. Not sure if he had a bobble there, but gap's starting to close a little bit between the 67 and 6.
Yeah, it's been hovering around 1 to 1.3 seconds. It's definitely down. Last time by Munsell was a 10th quicker, but can he do that consistently? You need to take about a 10th out every lap if he wants to get there by race end.
Tom Bourne and Weishart, that battle. Bourne got the position and slammed the wall out of turn 2, and Weishart gets it back. Both those drivers have beaten and battered cars battling for a top 12 position, as almost that gate out of turn 2 came into play again, as also that gap for the lead. Justin Munsell cut it down another 2/10 there.
Keep our eyes on it.
55.6 from Hearn, 55.4 from Munsell. Not sure if Hearn had a slip up there or if the 6 is starting to gain some speed, but behind these two, it's definitely going to start picking up in the... Whoa! Wow.
Bell
It's
and
definitely picking
Beckner
up now.
both had moments, and here comes Bell to the inside. He was sideways, Beckner was sideways, and Bell is going to get past.
Well, the difference was that they both had moments. Beckner lifted, Bell didn't. Comes another crossover maybe. Beckner's going to try to get to the left rear.
He's there.
Bell's couldn't shut it off, but we'll see. Bell should get the run off the corner. Not really. They're going to be pretty much dead even, and Beckner's going to have the side draft here. Another quick look at that gap for the lead, trying to look at the times. Looks like Hearn got back on speed there.
Well, these guys better settle it out for third quick because Furness is going to be closing in and making this a 3-car battle for the 3rd place spot.
Crossover City. I didn't think it was Indianapolis.
Bell setting him up. Really low, though. Too low almost, but he gets back to throttle. It sticks. Here he comes again. Does Beckner go defensive? No, he's going to let him have the inside. I thought he'd swing to the inside to defend that, but again, Beckner's been kind of switching back and forth between defending and whoa, there's a touch.
That was a neck code slap there. They weren't really close to touch him, but it worked out in Beckner's favor. He gets a bit of a breather, and that really puts Matthew Bell on the defensive for John Furness now.
Oh, Furness enters high, then gets back middle, but definitely some more breathing room for Beckner as these guys are coming across the stripe. 11 laps to go. No, 10.
10 laps
as soon as I say that.
Yep. Always takes a little longer to update than I'd like, but that's true even of the iRacing scoring, to be honest.
Yeah, you gotta wait until turn 1.
Yeah. Every time there's a photo finish, you gotta really wait.
Makes a super speedway so difficult.
It really does. I should set up an effect where the camera looks terrible and make it look like the actual photo finish cam. And go back and look at it in like 16x slow motion, but at 5 FPS.
Yes. Really lets you see all the chaos that happens on the last laps of super speedways, really in any series.
Yeah, Talladega's gonna be a wild one next week. A lot of drivers that will have yet to earn their way in. Cameron Hearn.
Looks like
He's lost his lead.
He lost a lot of time that lap. He's trying to look. He lost half a second there.
That's a concerning gap to lose.
Trying to find where that happened. I think it was turn 3. He, you know, I'm looking at it back. I think he just missed turn 3.
Yeah, just completely off the apex there. And big wobble there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's his one mistake. He cannot do that again.
Nope. And he's with it. I mean, Munsell can try to reel him in with a draft, and he is doing just that right now. So we're going to keep our eyes on the 67 and 6. It's not like it's uber powerful, but it certainly doesn't hurt. As this battle for third is getting just as hot. But if they wait, they might have these two.
Beckner.
Wow, that was tight.
Really sliding now.
Boy, I'm telling you, Furness is going to come away with third out of this. I can just see it.
God, this is how bad you want to talk to Kyle Heyer. He's the man of the hour.
Here we go. Here comes Bell to the inside. And Beckner not defending again. I wonder if this is on purpose to do this crossover. Will he lift slightly early? No. He's going to drive it in there really deep.
No room for much of this, and look at the run for...
Oh, boy.
Watch the run John Furness gets out of turn 2 here. He's going to set this up perfectly, and he might try 3 wide this time.
You don't have a lot of time left. Here he comes. Big run.
Oh, he doesn't have the room to
squeeze
do it.
him.
Man, he really tried to give him no room. Now Furness is boxed in, but it is not bad for the 28, I would say.
He's going to benefit. Oh, he backs out. Now here comes Bell to the inside. Beckner bobbles on the outside. Furness going to try and close in. Very close to touching there. 3 cars fighting for a podium.
This won't end well.
Side by side, Bell is through. Furness is going to set him up. 7 laps to go this time by Beckner, trying to cling to a podium and a top 5. Remember, James Scioli's not too far behind this either, although he's on it right now, catching these guys about a half a second a lap while they fight like this.
Look how far Beckner's setting it into the corners. He is drifting on entry with how hard he's setting it on entry. So that's probably why his tires are wearing out, why he's struggling on the exit of these corners. Matthew Bell is probably going to use that to his advantage and pull away from the 27 and try to put distance between himself and John Furness as the battle for the lead. That gap is growing once again.
But just, it's not a ton. It's only 7.5 tenths. And Cameron lost 6 tenths in one slip up. And he's got some traffic ahead of him.
Yeah, that won't help either. Dirty air on the nose to the very end if Casey Lakatos doesn't give way. As Lakatos was on fresher tires, but losing a lot of time. So that won't... Hearn will get draft from it, but more importantly, he'll get dirty air alongside the 6. So not an advantage at all.
An advantage to the 6.
Yes.
Momentarily, but we got 6 to go, so... That's really, unless he can close in with the draft, I'm not sure if that's going to do too much, but he's going to need a lap traffic to get a little mix and mingle with the leader.
Might get just that. All it took was a slight miscalculation by Hearn to really create this opportunity, but Cameron's just a hair faster in open air. But Munsell needs to take advantage of this opportunity with Cameron behind traffic. And Casey Lakatos is not known for being in the way, so he'll likely pull over on the straightaway, maybe this time or next.
Yeah, no team play here, obviously. They're not teammates,
nope.
so should be right here.
It's probably going to end up hurting Munsell more than anything.
We'll see. Yeah, it might hurt Munsell if Lakatos hasn't turned left. Actually, he's not that close. See if Lakatos gives way down the back.
It's so frustrating to be this close and to just not have enough.
Might have helped the 6 a little bit, but not too much as 50 gives way. Now these two mano a mano as battle for 4th kind of shut down after Matthew Bell got by. John Furness has not been able to really do anything with Beckner.
Yeah, they're closing in on 4 to go now, but still 7 car lengths separating Hearn and Munsell. And again, Kyle, you brought it up. It hurts to be this close week after week if you're Munsell, but man, something's got to give at some point. I really thought tonight would be the night, but it seems like unless something drastic happens, it's going to be all 67 crossing that checkered flag. Well, crossing the yard of bricks, I should say.
Cameron does have one win. It came back on May 11th at Michigan. And since then has had only one top 5. That came at Pocono. And he's had 2 finishes outside the top 20. So definitely looking to turn his season around and headed for the right direction at a critical and pivotal point in the year when the playoffs kick off at Chicagoland a couple of weeks from now.
It's extremely important because, James Scully's been dominating. That means there's no other multi-time winners. Scully's the only one. Every other race we've seen a different winner, so would definitely be huge to get added bonus points going into the playoffs if you're Cameron Hearn coming to 3 laps to go.
A little further back, well, it was a little further back. It looked like Nick Silver and Chris Rabel are close nose and tail for 7th on the track. And then not too far behind them, Shane Therian. Quiet night from each and every one of these guys. Solid bounce back from Rabel compared to Monday night.
Good night for Therian. Started 21st. Not a great qualifying effort, but top 10 after starting that deep. Not bad at all.
Matter of fact, no qualifying effort. Didn't put a time down. And, looking at it,
no qualifying.
He
It's
didn't
bad
attempt
qualifying. Here comes
Yeah.
John Furness on Beckner, by the way. Took a swipe at him into 3, but won't get alongside. But Beckner's struggling right now.
Might hit him.
Bumper.
All but hitting him into turn 3 and just trying to loosen him up more than Beckner already is, as really sets him up out of corner number 4. And not much Beckner can do at this point, as it looks like he will protect bottom.
Yep.
Looks like it.
Very close there. Don't want to come up and create an incident that could bring out the caution, especially as they're coming across 2 to go now. Furness giving it his all on the outside. Beckner going to take away the spot for the moment, but that 28 definitely can move up one more spot before the end of this one, Kyle.
Yeah.
Tell you what,
Ooh,
sorry
this is
to cut.
Go ahead.
Sorry to cut you off. That battle for the lead, it shrunk a little bit more. 0.3 of a second last time by. I don't think it's enough time, but he really closed it up.
Just be a distraction in the rearview mirror. That's all you can hope for this late. We still have to get back to the start-finish line without a yellow as well. Let's consider that as these drivers, Shane Abbey and Chuck Sweeting, fight for position. Cameron Hearn looking for that white flag to solidify his last green flag lap. Here they go, white flag in the air one more time around Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Cameron Hearn, Justin Munsell separated by half a second. That battle is on, but so is this one, Furness versus Beckner.
And Furness not able to do anything into turn 1 this time, as he'll look to get close to the bumper, maybe even hit him this time. See how physical Furness wants to get into turn number 3. Needs to set up for a good exit on this corner as the top 2 further apart.
You get the runoff.
Oh, here it is.
Yep, I'm saying you get the runoff down the front stretch with Magic do still on the back stretch, but it's going to have one more chance to make the move on him before going into 3.
Here he comes, has a look at him. Beckner is not going to go defensive. He will stay ahead into turn 3. Furness throws it in deep, but it's not going to be enough, at least at turn 3. For Cameron Hearn, a win several months ago at May. That was what put him into the playoffs, but he's going to solidify it as only the second multi-time winner this year. Cameron Hearn wins at the Brickyard.
Incredible race. That was amazing. Munsell 2nd, Bell top 3. Beckner holds on. Furness 5th. And Skyly Silva Rabel. That was incredible. That was one of the greatest battles you'll ever see at the Brickyard. They're still battling back here with Garrett Grant.
14th at the line, going to go to the 5. The 75 is Sweeting, put up an effort, going to come home 15th.
Great effort there. And for Cameron Hearn, Justin Munsell, and who else was in that fight? Was it Scioli?
Scioli.
That was an excellent battle. We'll go back and look at it again in a little while. But you see, Cameron is celebratory. Only the second win this season. The only driver other than James Scioli who has 7 wins to have more than one. And I said earlier, at a pivotal phase of this championship, right before the playoffs begin, gathering momentum at the right time.
Yeah, definitely a big time to get that momentum. And no better place to do it than at the Brickyard, I would say. Absolutely incredible to get some more bonus points at a historic track before going to the random number generator that is Talladega. So really strong race. He was definitely going to be in the battle for the win, no question, but he played strategy to perfection as well.
Well, not to mention we get to watch him. Oh, he does it over the virtual bricks.
He just lost all credibility from Indiana.
Wow. Well, he also celebrates his win in a big old boom. I don't know if we'll see it here. Well, he already crossed over the yard of bricks, but
He might as well cover them all.
Yeah, at this point. All right, in a smoky haze, here is a look at your race results here tonight. That was fun to watch. We'll go back and look at some highlights in a bit, but there are your top 10. Cameron Hearn wins this race, the number 67. My pick gets it done. Nice work, me. Justin Munsell, second place, 7/10 back. Connor, he gave it everything he had, just not close enough.
He just needed one more slip-up from Cameron Hearn. Still not sure what happened in turn 3, but it gave Munsell a shot, gave him new life. Just could not close the deal. Couldn't get close enough to really loosen Cameron Hearn up. Matthew Bell, he had a shot. Beckner loose. John Furness, great battle between those two. And James Scioli, what could have been for him and Furness. Damage on pit road and then damage battling for the top 3 positions. Scioli was in that 3-wide battle, just not close enough. And Silver, Rabel, Theory, and Weaver, all somewhat quiet nights, but all top 10 nights.
Jordan Martin just missing the top 10. Weishart had a solid night until contact with the wall, rallied to 12th. Bourne, Grant, Sweeting, and then you got Abby, Anisogok, Ed Robertson, Greg Mitchell, and Steve Durham rounding out top 20.
And looking on back, the tail end of the field here. 3 drivers that just didn't have great nights. Licata Santo and Hudson, and then 4 that had very bad ones. That was Austin Gack-Jones, Mason Kane with that big impact at the exit of turn number 2, and then James Coey out in the first handful of laps, first 15 laps. He was out and done for the day. So third place tonight was Matthew Bell, who fought up there late in the going to run P3. Matthew Bell joins us now, finishing third place tonight in that blue number 43. Hard-fought fight all night long. Some great battles out there, in fact. It was hard to pass Matthew, but you got it done. And he started 7th, finished 3rd. Got to feel good tonight.
Yeah. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, it feels great. It was a fun race, to be honest. One that went green, so you got a little loose at the end of the runs, and I used that to my advantage to get around back at the end there. But it was definitely difficult to pass.
Take us through the tires over the course of the night. We saw some drivers just struggling with understeer. Some were struggling with oversteer, leaving corners. Where was your car good tonight, and where were you struggling at the end of the run?
So the first run, I don't know if it was like everyone, but my brake bias was a little higher than I usually run. So I was plowing the end of the first run, and then once I pitted, I dropped it all the way that I could, and I was honestly pretty neutral the rest of the race. I got a little bit loose trying to catch Beckner that last run, but other than that, it was pretty neutral from my point of view. I usually like something that's a little looser, so I wouldn't mind if it was a little looser, but I didn't really struggle with tightness after the first run there.
Well, Matthew Bell, third place, the number 43 Chevrolet. Matthew, thanks for chatting. Congrats, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
All right, Justin Munsell, second place tonight. One of the drivers fighting for the championship, a playoff opportunity, and a race win. Not yet this season. So close so many times, Justin, but tonight just shy of a win. And Cameron Hearn got you by 0.7 of a second. Looked like he was going to give you one late, but just couldn't quite get there. Take us through it.
Yeah, it was. I think it was just a matter of that one extra lap of tire. I tried to stay with them that last 20 laps, just to kind of keep it close and keep them honest. And just hope for a bobble, and he bobbled, but I also bobbled. So it was just kind of a battle back and forth between, running a good lap and basically we were just talking, and turn 3 was kind of the nemesis. There's a nice big bump that will shoot your car up the track if you're not careful, and I think we both were hitting it pretty much 50% of the time the last 15 laps. So it was good fun. I'm bummed that I couldn't get the win. Indy's not my best track by any means, but anytime I can get a long run, I feel like I have a strong contention, especially when Scioli hit the wall a couple times. It's kind of open season at that point. But I mean, shout out to him and shout out to Cameron for the fun racing. And I didn't get the best end of it, or the first place finish, but I mean, that racing was top of the line and shows what this league can do, and makes me very happy to be in this league. So great race, very happy with it. Hopefully we'll take that momentum into Talladega and then to the playoffs.
It was unbelievable, Justin. So much fun to watch that. 3 wide through turns 1 and 2. I've never seen that before at Indy. That was phenomenal. So congratulations, second place. We'll see you next week at Talladega.
Yep, I appreciate you guys. Have a good one.
Thank you. And the winner for the second race this season took the advantage in a 3-wide scenario, battling for the top spot. Cameron Hearn, only the second multi-time winner this season, behind James Scioli with 7 wins. Cameron, this is your second and well-earned tonight. You led a whole bunch of laps, 48 of the 80, and duked and dived up front with Justin and James Scioli. That has to be so satisfying to race like that and come out on top at the Brickyard.
Yeah, it was awesome. Kind of a confident booster going into the playoffs, getting a win at a track where, I feel like you have to drive it. You got 4 turns that really you can mess up, which I did mess up a lot coming past 10, 15 laps. But Chris Sports Car Chevy was driving good tonight, and glad to bring home a W for Slaughter Sim Racing. But I want to give a shout out to John Furness. He was bad fast that first run, and I don't know if anybody had anything for him. If there wouldn't have been that bobble in pit road, I think he got some rear end damage. I'm sure that affected the car a little bit. But a shout out to him, tough break for him, because he was bad fast that first run before the caution came out.
We saw a lot of side-by-side tonight, a lot more than I thought we would see after some long single-file runs. You took James Scioli and Munsell 3 wide into turn 1. The bottom lane didn't always seem like the place to be because you could get pinched so easily, but the top wasn't great either. So when you were picking your lane for that 3-wide move, why pick the bottom versus why just sit and wait on it?
Yeah, clean air is huge, and I had to run, and I didn't want to do it, but my main mission is to go in there and not wash up right and end the race with the 2 guys above me. Justin raced me super hard and clean in the short track, and James is fast everywhere, has a ton of skill, so I just felt confident with the guys I was racing with. To be able to do that, if it was somebody else up there, I might have thought twice about it, but with those guys, I knew that they would hold their lines, and me in the bottom, I just wanted to keep my lane and try to get a good run off as I can, and Justin got loose up top, I think, or maybe tight, and I think James's damage was hurting him a little bit with the aero, so I just went for it, and luckily it stuck and worked out.
Well, it stuck and worked out for you. 2 wins on the season, locked into the playoffs, going into Talladega. That has to feel good, Cameron. So best of luck to you next week. Stress-free Talladega. That is definitely a privilege.
I appreciate it. Looking forward to it. You guys have a good weekend. Hey to my mom and dad. Probably my biggest fans, maybe only fans. But hey, I appreciate you watching. I love you.
Thanks, Cameron. We'll see you next time. Wrapping things up here from Indianapolis, guys. I want to look at this again at full speed, full song, because this was unbelievable. I've just not seen racing like this at Indianapolis with full, non-neutered race cars, right? Not a package that encourages this. This was all natural, guys, and this was fun to watch.
You might not see a better highlight all season. I mean, this is incredible. Not only into the corner, that's one thing, but through the corner, all the way through turn 1, they stayed 3 wide, and then they nearly did it again all the way through turn 2 before Justin Munsell backed out. That was a key point in the race. Munsell not able to stay to the outside Scioli. Maybe the battle would have been different, but either way, absolutely incredible. Those are, may I dare say that they're definitely some of the best drivers this season. One of our few incidents with Greg Mitchell, Mason Kane getting into it, and a huge hit in turn 2. Fortunate to only be a 2-car incident, Hunter.
And then right here, this massive hit, Austin Gak-Jones. Nowhere to go for Jacob Hudson. Gak-Jones and Kane going to be in tough situations. Casey Lacatas as well, heading into Talladega. Not to mention Colin Fambrough, Bryce Senesac, also close on the cutoff line. They did not make it tonight. So it's going to be a lot of crazy chaos heading to Talladega, but that's just what the schedule plays, Kyle. And I'm looking forward to it because that's where all 3 series are going next week.
All 3 series headed to the biggest track on the circuit, Talladega, Alabama. It's big, it's fierce, and it requires a whole lot of luck. Sometimes you'd rather be lucky than good, and next week you're going to need to be both when we head to our final round of the regular season and get set for our 5-race playoff postseason. Well, Indianapolis has put on a good show for us, but Talladega's up next. Race fans, be sure to check out shop.areairacing.com for merchandise to represent your favorite drivers and teams. Shop from our brand new selections of champion t-shirts, jackets, hats, and more. Easier to shop, quicker to ship, better to wear. That's shop.areairacing.com. I'm Kyle Heyer with Hunter Sleppy and Connor Horn bringing you the action. We'll see you next week for the Cup Series, Truck Series, and Area of Florida State Builders Pro Series, all from the high banks at Talladega.
Me gusta tu vestido.
Dime más.
Tus manos parecen muy suaves.
Dime más.
Tu pelo es perfecto para la forma de tu cara.